Assalamualaikum. My name is Masitah binti Amil Hamzah. I'm holding metric card number DSAM 2001-060. So I will briefly explain what is aviation industry. So basically, aviation industry is the activities surrounding mechanical flight and the aircraft industry itself. In aviation industry also, the activities such as aircraft takeoff and landing are performed. Aviation also include ramp activities such as refueling and many more. In aviation, it consists of airport, which is in the airport itself. They have aviation industry consists of airport, which is in the airport. They had apron for the aircraft purposes of parking and refueling. In airport also they had runway for the purpose of aircraft takeoff and landing, and as well as taxiing. And in the airport also consists of aircraft ATC tower, which is this ATC tower is very vital towards the aviation industry, because this ATC tower will provide information such as weather forecast and runway clearance for the aircraft operation. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum. My name is Zahidah binti Shamsuddin. I'm holding metric card number DSM 1800048. So, for the introduction, OSHA's mission is to ensure that employees work in a safe and healthful environment by setting and enforcing standards, and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. Employers must comply with all applicable OSHA standards. They must also comply with the General Duty Clause of the OSH Act, which requires employers to keep their workplace free of serious recognized hazards. So, first of all, about law. Law are actually rules and guidelines that are set up by the social institutions to govern behavior. These laws are made by government officials that in some countries elected by the public to represent their views. In simple terms, law are basically things that a person can and cannot do. It is enforced by government officials such as police officer, agents, and judges. So here, there are various types of law framed, such as criminal law, civil law, and international law. Breaking a law is a punishable crime and has drastic consequences such as hefty fines, jail time, and community service time. And the next is regulation. A regulation is a regulatory requirement established and published by the agency to serve as a criteria for measuring whether employers are in compliance with the OSHA Act law. And also OSHA standards are published in Title 29 of the Code of Federal Regulation CFR, and are divided into separate standards for general industry, construction, and maritime.
Hi everyone, and good morning, especially to my lecturer, Madam Hajar. And today I'm going to talk about the occupational accident that has happened that is related to any safety laws and regulation. So for activity today, I'm going to talk about the Chernobyl disaster. And the Chernobyl disaster happened on 26 April of 1986, and it is considered as the worst nuclear disaster in history. And also it has happened in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which is in Ukraine. And the type of the accident is a nuclear and radiation accident, and which causes from reactor design flaws and also basically human error. In INES scale level, which is the international nuclear and radiological event scale, it is scaled on the level 7, which is considered as a major accident, which is very bad, and it affects to people and animal and also the environment. All right, so the death that occurs are actually fewer than 100 people, but the so there are a few things that were affected, which are human, animals, and also the environment. So for humans, there were actually 237 people suffered from acute radiation sickness, and after a few while, there were about 31 people died from the sickness, and the rest remain healthy but still have to live with the disease. And also for the environment, the factory was near to the Pripyat River, which supply water to all the nearest residents there, which about 2.4 million residents. And the water supply has been contaminated, and there were no water supply, and it was very dirty for everyone to use and very dangerous. And also for animals, all the animals nearby, some were dead and some were actually in a very bad condition, and also died in a very not in a good way. So there are a few regulations that we can relate about, which is the Part 2 Regulation 5 from Chapter 7 in OSL, which accident arising with work which cause death or serious body injury, the employer shall notify with DOSH quickly if things like this arise in the workplace. And the second regulation is the Part 3 Regulation 10. It is in the Chapter 5 in OSL. It is identified the possible major accident hazard in the workplace, and adequate steps has been taken to prevent any major accident or minimize consequences to person and also environment. Alright guys, so that's all from my part. Thank you so much for listening, and you can listen to the next part. Bye bye.
Hello guys, I'm Mughita di SAM 20003, and I'm here to talk about a case study of Sriwijaya Air Flight 182. And Sriwijaya Air Flight 182 is supposed to go on Jakarta, Pontianak, one of city of Indonesia, but on 9th January 2021, the flight was crashed on scene after 4 minutes takeoff from airport, and there was 62 people on the board, and I thought that everyone killed in the board, and the plane would get on somewhere in Lucky Island nearby Thousand Island. And the investigation said that the plane was crashed because maybe have been caused. There were several factors, including the problem of control the engine thrust, and there were 62 people, and 50 of them is passenger and 12 of them the crew members. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nishant, and I'm going to talk about a case study on a fast food outlet. The staff were cleaning up after a busy Friday night trading up a fast food outlet. The cook was walking back to the kitchen from a pot wash area over a flood that had been just wet mouthed by another employee. As he walked past the deep fat fryer, the cook suddenly slipped on the steel damp floor. He instinctively reached out to try to break his fall by pulling over the electric deep fat fryer in his panic moment. The fryer toppled over, spilling its entire contents, a total of 35 liters of boiling hot oil, onto the cook and the floor. The cook suffered extensive burns to his ankles, legs, and chest, and needed skin grafts. Another employee in the vicinity of the split. Also received severe burns to her right leg and ankle. Again needed skin grafts. The company were prosecuted by Manchester City Council and fined 60,000 euro, pleading guilty to 2 health and safety offences in order to pay costs of another 16,000. This happened because the restaurant management didn't follow the safety and found that poor floor maintenance and poor cleaning, poor footwear and poor slip resistance of the floor tiles had been combined and given the effect and increased the likelihood of slipping incidents. The Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970 regulates employee safety to mitigate every incidents of death of workplace injuries. The Act sets out the rights of employees to safe working environments. Fast food employees have the right to be trained about the functioning of equipment, to be provided with safety gear and to get information about hazards in the workplace. Employees also have the right to ask OSHA to inspect the conditions of the fast food chain without retaliation from their employee. Thank you.
The safety and health of all employees should be the first priority and value of any business. It should be therefore be the policy of any business to provide a safe and healthful work environment for all of its employees. With this in mind, the safety rules contained in Occupational Safety and Health Act have been formulated to assist and protect us. They were revised to keep up with the latest technological development, changing condition and improve in equipment and procedure as well as the requirements set forth by the OSHA. It also eliminates suffering and lowers wage. It also improves production, maintain efficiency, reduce waste and generally provide a sense of well-being for all employees and working places. With such broad definition, no wonder it is nearly impossible to get people who can really commit to a specific safety plan or safety procedure. The government attempts an effort to define a guide what exactly makes a work area safe. OSHA has in recent years become an even more important part of the activities of both the private and public sector. All the sectors acknowledge the relevance of OSHA and they try to implement it as much as they can. That's all from me. Thank you.